All right, so today we're gonna dive into something that I think pretty much everyone listening has experienced at some point,
Hmm.
and that is the wonderful world of mosquitoes.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not just talking about like the annoying buzz, but we're going to talk about like the actual risks
Right.
that they pose and how to uh, maybe actually kind of get the upper hand
Yeah. Yeah.
in the battle against them. So think of this as like mosquito control 101,
I like it.
but taught by the pros.
Nice.
The source today is the website for Freedom Wildlife Solutions and Pest Control,
Okay.
and they are experts servicing Clayton, North Carolina, and the Raleigh-Durham area.
All right. Clayton, North Carolina. I know that area well.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And, it's fascinating how often people just think of mosquitoes as like just a nuisance, right?
Right.
But I mean, really, they are a public health threat.
Yeah, I will admit, I was one of those people that just thought it was like, oh, they're annoying,
Sure.
and they bite you and you itch. But when you start looking at the diseases they can carry, it gets kind of scary.
Oh, absolutely.
Like we're talking about like malaria,
Yep.
dengue fever,
Oh.
Zika West Nile virus,
Mhm.
chikungunya. Like it's a pretty serious.
And that's not even all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, the important thing to remember is that these diseases are not just, something that you hear about
Right.
in some far-off tropical location.
Right.
They are present right here in the U.S.
Exactly.
And the risk is very real.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And you know what I was reading on their website? That North Carolina actually has a pretty significant mosquito problem, especially during certain times of the year.
That's right. And part of that is because of the climate, right?
Sure.
You got these warm temperatures, you got high humidity that just creates the perfect breeding grounds
Yeah.
for mosquitoes. And here's what's crazy about mosquitoes. They can breed in even the tiniest amounts of standing water.
Well,
I'm talking like bottle caps, bird baths, those forgotten toys in the backyard.
oh, you know what? I have a few of those lurking in my backyard.
Yeah, I bet you do.
It's like I'm running a mosquito daycare out there. But seriously, how does a company like Freedom
Right.
actually tackle this? Like, they must have some pretty impressive strategies.
Yeah, they do. And it starts with really understanding what they're dealing with.
Right.
So Freedom, they emphasize a detailed inspection process
Okay.
before they even treat. They're not just like going in and just spraying blindly.
Yeah.
They want to like really map out the property, identify those breeding sites, figure out exactly what kind of mosquitoes.
Oh, so it's like a personalized mosquito battle plan
It is.
tailored to your specific needs. I bet that's like a far cry from those like DIY
Yeah.
methods some
Yeah.
people use, like those citronella candles that really don't.
Yeah, I mean, and it's much more effective.
Yeah.
What's interesting about Freedom's approaches is that they do these customized solutions.
Right.
So they use a combination of methods, including things like larvicides, which target the mosquitoes when they're in the larval stage, and adulticides, which are more effective against the adult mosquitoes.
Okay, wait, hold on. Before you go any further, I know some of our listeners might be thinking,
Sure.
larvicides, adulticides, like, aren't those just fancy words for like harsh chemicals?
Right.
So I'm guessing that's where Freedom's like commitment to the safety and eco-friendliness comes in?
Absolutely. And that's something that they're very clear about on their website. Freedom only uses products that are registered with the Environmental Protection Agency, and they apply them in a very targeted way
Okay.
to minimize any impact on the environment or your family.
Okay, that's reassuring.
Mm.
I've seen some pretty intense DIY methods out there, and I would much rather
Yeah.
have a professional handle that,
Sure.
knowing they're prioritizing safety and effectiveness.
Right.
But walk me through this a bit more. What exactly do these larvicides and adulticides do?
Okay. So
Yeah.
larvicides, they basically disrupt the mosquito's life cycle at the very beginning. They stop them before they can even become those buzzing, biting adults.
So it's like a proactive approach.
Exactly.
You're targeting the breeding sites before they even...
Right before the problem explodes.
Right.
Think of it like this. You've got a small puddle forming in your backyard, right?
Right.
That puddle could potentially hatch hundreds, even thousands of mosquito larvae.
Oh, wow.
A larvicide basically prevents those larvae from developing into adults. So it's like
Got it.
cutting off the problem right at the source.
That makes a lot of sense. But what about like the mosquitoes that are already like
Right.
buzzing around looking for their next meal?
Right.
That's where the adulticides come in.
Exactly. Adulticides are designed to target those adult mosquitoes.
Okay.
And Freedom uses a variety of different methods to apply them.
Okay.
One method that they highlight on their website is something called barrier spraying.
Okay.
And it's essentially creating like a protective zone
Okay.
around your property, targeting the areas where mosquitoes are most likely to kind of congregate and enter.
So it's like building a mosquito-repelling force field around your yard.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I like it. But, it's not lost on me that we're talking about, like,
Sure.
eliminating a living creature here.
Mm.
Are there any concerns about the impact of these
Right.
treatments on, you know, other insects or even birds and animals?
Yeah, that's a really important question, and it's something that Freedom addresses head on.
Okay.
They emphasize that the products that they use are designed to be very specific to mosquitoes. So
Okay.
they break down quickly in the environment and they pose very minimal risk to other insects or birds or animals.
Okay. That puts my mind at ease a bit.
Mm.
But even with these, like, professional treatments,
Mm.
I'm guessing there's still a role for us, the homeowners, to play in
Yeah.
this mosquito battle.
Yeah.
What kind of things can we do on a daily basis?
Well, one of the simplest things you can do is eliminate standing water around your property.
Okay.
We talked about those forgotten toys, but, also regularly empty bird baths, keep your gutters clean, and make sure any like containers, buckets, anything like that are stored upside down so they don't collect rainwater.
That's great advice. And that's something that, everyone can do
Right.
regardless of whether they, hire a professional or not.
Exactly.
It's like they're empowering us to become active participants
Exactly.
in our own mosquito control strategy. What else can we do?
Well, they also talk a lot about the importance of landscaping.
Okay.
So things like keeping the grass trimmed,
Right.
trimming back bushes and shrubs, and even planting certain types of mosquito-repelling plants can make a big difference.
Mosquito-repelling plants. You say, now you got my attention.
Yeah.
I'm picturing my yard transformed into like a fragrant, mosquito-free oasis.
Exactly.
What kind of plants are we talking about here?
Well, they mention a few like citronella, grass, lavender, marigolds.
Okay.
These plants naturally release scents that mosquitoes just don't like.
Really?
And so it helps to deter them from your yard.
I love that idea. It's like fighting mosquitoes with beauty. But, thinking about all of this, it makes me realize that mosquito control isn't just about individual homeowners taking action. It's like a community effort.
You hit the nail on the head because, mosquitoes, they don't respect property lines.
Right.
So what one person does on their property
Yeah.
can absolutely impact their neighbors.
Right.
The real magic happens when an entire community takes steps to reduce mosquito breeding grounds.
So it's like a collective responsibility.
Yeah.
A neighborhood watch for mosquitoes.
Yes, exactly.
If we all do our part, we can create a healthier environment
Yes.
for everyone.
I'm sensing a slogan here. United we SWAT.
I like the enthusiasm, but maybe we can workshop that slogan a little bit.
Okay.
But you're absolutely right about the importance of community involvement.
Right.
And Freedom actually plays a role in this as well. They offer community-wide mosquito control programs.
Wow.
So they actually work with towns and neighborhoods to implement these large-scale prevention and treatment strategies. So it's like they're not just treating individual yards, they're actually helping to create like healthier communities.
It's a very holistic approach.
It is, but speaking of communities, I can't help but think about the broader ecological picture here.
Sure.
Mosquitoes are a part of the ecosystem,
Yeah.
even if we find them annoying.
Right.
Is there any concern about like eliminating them altogether?
That's a really good question. And it's something, it touches on the complexities of pest management.
Yeah.
The goal isn't necessarily to eradicate every single mosquito,
Right.
but to manage their populations in a way that minimizes the risk to human health,
Right.
but also respects that balance of the ecosystem.
So it's about finding that sweet spot,
Yeah.
that delicate equilibrium where we can coexist with mosquitoes without them,
Right.
making our lives miserable.
Exactly.
It's a fascinating challenge.
And it is. And
Yeah.
it requires, a deep understanding of mosquito biology, their role in the environment, and the potential consequences of our actions.
Right.
It's not as simple as just spraying everything in sight.
Right. So what we're learning here is that mosquito control is a multifaceted issue,
Yes.
one that requires, careful consideration, a scientific approach, and a bit of community spirit.
Absolutely.
It's more than just like swatting at those annoying buzzers.
Yeah.
It's about taking proactive steps to protect ourselves, our families, and our communities. It's pretty amazing, as we've been talking about Freedom and their approach, it's made me realize how much really goes into like
Yeah,
responsible pest management.
it really does.
It's not just about, getting rid of something that's bugging us.
Right.
It's really understanding that bigger picture.
Absolutely. There's a whole ecosystem at play.
Right.
And we have to be mindful of those ripple effects.
It's easy to forget that mosquitoes are a part of that ecosystem.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a food source for birds, bats, other insects. I mean, they even play a role in pollination.
They do.
So the goal isn't necessarily to like wipe them off the planet, but to find that balance, minimizing the, negative impact on humans
Sure.
while still respecting that delicate web of life.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like we're learning to coexist,
Yeah.
even if it's a slightly itchy coexistence.
That's right.
But finding that balance must require a deep understanding of the ecosystem, right?
It does.
Knowing, which species are beneficial, which ones are harmful,
Right.
and how to target the harmful ones
Right.
in a way that, minimizes that collateral damage.
You hit the nail on the head. It's about using a scalpel
Yeah,
instead of a sledgehammer.
right,
And, that's where companies like Freedom really shine.
right,
They're not just exterminators, they're scientists.
right.
They're studying mosquito behavior, they're tracking populations, and they're constantly refining their methods to be as effective and eco-friendly as possible.
It's like they're mosquito whisperers,
Yeah,
understanding their secrets and then using that knowledge to outsmart them.
that's a good way to put it.
This entire deep dive has been a real eye-opener for me.
Yeah.
I started out thinking about those annoying bites.
Yeah.
And now I'm like contemplating, the intricacies of ecosystems and the ethics of pest control.
It's amazing what you can uncover when you really dive deep into a subject.
It is.
And it also highlights the importance of, being informed consumers.
Right.
When you're dealing with something like pest control, you really want to choose a company
Yeah.
that understands the science, that respects the environment,
Absolutely.
and that prioritizes safety.
Couldn't agree more. And for all of you listening out there, if this conversation has
Yeah.
piqued your curiosity,
Yeah.
I encourage you to do some research of your own.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Learn about the mosquito species in your area, the diseases they might carry, and the different control methods available.
Exactly.
Knowledge is power.
It is.
And the more you know, the better equipped you'll be to protect yourself and your community.
That's a great call to action. And remember, even small actions.
Can make a big difference.
Right.
Something as simple as emptying out a bird bath
Right.
or talking to your neighbors about mosquito prevention can really contribute to a healthier environment.
Absolutely. Well said. So to wrap up our deep dive into mosquito control, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
Mosquitoes might be a nuisance, but they're also a reminder of the interconnectedness of all living things.
That's a good point.
We share this planet, and finding ways to coexist, even with the creatures that bug us, is essential for a healthy and sustainable future.
I agree.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and maybe keep a can of mosquito repellent handy just in case.